Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. We just moved the sheep from over that paddock through our sheep gate, and we're getting ready to make a flerd. So right now the boys are taking the dog feeder. They're going to put it up here and put a wire around that to keep the bulls from flipping it, because the bulls are in the paddock I'm standing in. Right now the dogs, I wanted the bulls to kind of get used to the sheep and the dogs, and so we had one paddock separating them, and it's the paddock they're on right now. You can see the bulls have got this graze pretty good. So here in about 5 minutes, the boys come back. I'm going to have them roll this wire up, and we're going to see if we have a little rodeo here with the dogs and the bulls. Last year they ran them around the paddock about twice. And folks, those bulls were against this sheep fence last night. And that's only 12 inches off the ground. Every bull in there's 59 bulls. They could have easily stepped over that, but they didn't. They're wanting to get in here where these sheep are. So we're going to have a flerd, a flock and a herd. When you got this many dogs, there's two that's already went over there. They're checking out their dog feeder. And we got about 160 sheep here and 59 bulls. So we're going to put them all together on this beautiful pasture. It's March 31st. And we've got some really nice grass in front of them. The bulls are not happy with us. They're like, why haven't you moved us? So we're going to get a video of the bulls coming on some really prime grass here in just a minute. But right now, we're just getting that dog feeder set up over there. Those bulls, it's not like they're going to eat the dog feed, but they'll sure as heck flip that feeder. Just, you know, look at them going after that dog. And that dog's like, oh crap. So it's not that this year, it's not the dogs chasing the bulls, it's the bulls chasing the dogs. That's funny. Those two dogs may wish they weren't over there and they get surrounded by 59 bulls. It's gonna be interesting. Every year it's a little different. Last year it was the dogs were the dominant species, they chased them, and this year it looks like the bulls might be the dominant species. We'll find out here in about 5 minutes. But it's just a beautiful day out here. I had technology is great when it works, and my gimbal that I had this morning, it did not work. So we got to find out what's up with it. So y'all, with vertigo, I'm sorry. It's gonna be a little jerky this morning, but I'll try and do my best and not shoot the video around at sharp angles real fast. Makes you dizzy. Gosh, it's just beautiful though. All the birds are back. The tree swallows are back. The red-winged blackbirds are back. The turkeys are gobbling every morning. The fish are starting to hit the top of the water. It's just a wonderful time of the year. I think of all the 4 seasons, my golly, it's pretty darn hard to beat spring. And that's because you went through a winter. We're last day in March, we fought through mud month, which is this month, and we made it through it. We've had 4 days now of sun, and mud doesn't look so bad anymore. We don't have it. So the cattle herd tonight's actually going to be a cattle drive, and we're starting grazing 100%. We've got some pretty good grass like this in front of the cow herd. They're going to be doing backflips when they get on something like this, because we've been holding them back. That's what we're doing, letting it get going. And because of all the water we've had, the grass was slow to get going because the ground was so saturated. There wasn't any sun. We went almost 2 weeks without seeing the sunlight. Well, you're not going to grow any grass. Got to have sun to grow plant leaves. So now we're getting the sun. The grass is taking off, and boy, it has plenty of moisture to grow. So I think this is going to be a great spring. It's heading that way anyway. It's just beautiful. We are in Missouri. You know, we could get a snow in April. It's not real likely to hang around very long if we do get one. But man, look at those sheep. They are flat, churning and burning. This little dog in the forefront here, she's a young dog. She's about 10 months old. That was one we couldn't catch. And she wouldn't stay with the sheep. When we go to move them, she was so paranoid of us, she'd take off running and get underneath the fence, or if we across the road over here onto the other part of the farm, she would stay on the other side of the fence. And so I finally set a trap, a pen, built a pen, and I got a door on it, and I put some feed in there. She went in there, and I was able to put a string on my door, and I closed the door behind her from about 200 feet away. And I brought her back to the house. And you know, that dog, just handling her for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, she just freaked out. I mean, she just didn't like people. And, you know, she's standing there looking at me. She moves with the dogs now and the other sheep. And she's just an awesome dog. She doesn't wander. That one behind her has got the drag on her. She was a wanderer. She liked to wander a lot. We caught her on the road. And, you know, that's a dead dog. So, hey guys, let's go ahead and roll this up. You're good. Let's go ahead and roll it up. We can do that when we get done. So we're getting ready to institute the Flerd right now. So with cattle fencing, folks, your temporary step ins, you can go, oh my gosh, 40 to 60 feet between posts. Not with sheep. This is the one wire fence, and those posts are about 12 to 16 feet apart. And that's part of the one wire fence system that makes it work so well. Those sheep see those posts. And by God, it worked pretty good for the cattle. The cattle grazed on this side of the fence yesterday. They did not step over that fence. Woo! Yeah! Here they come. Oh yeah. I'm telling you, these bulls are broke so well. I mean, just one whoop like that, man, they're ready to go. They're absolutely ready to go. I just need to roll this wire up, and we're going to have us a Flerd here in about less than 5 minutes. The sheep are like, those are bigger than we are. Folks, the beautiful thing about sheep and cattle together, of course, I've said this several times, but for those of you all new, and I didn't say welcome for those of y'all first viewers to our channel, welcome. The cows actually soak up the parasites from the sheep, and it's a dead-end host. And the sheep, they can suck up the cow parasite onto their body. It's a dead-end host. And so the sheep and the cattle act as co-hosts for each other's parasites, which is awesome. The sheep, if they had their ruthers, they would a lot rather eat a broadleaf, like a weed, a thorn tree, multifer rosebush, autumn olive. They love them. They absolutely love that kind of stuff. The cattle are more, you know, grass and clover type, you know, foragers, but the sheep, they go after the woody type stuff, if they have the ruthers. Well, there's not any woody stuff out here right now, but I'm sure there'll be some weeds coming up later in the summer, and by God, them sheep will be after them. Here it comes. Boys are rolling up the wire. This ought to be fun. The dogs are like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with these things? Okay, here we go. The bulls are coming in. They're running onto the green grass. The sheep don't seem too freaked out by them. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But it's funny, folks. In about an hour of sitting out here watching these cattle with the sheep, they don't even pay any attention to each other. Right now, it's all new. And that's why we're giving them a bigger paddock. I don't want them in a little tight paddock. if the dogs would get to run in the cows, which they aren't yet, they're not going to run each other through the fence. So we didn't put in a back fence purposely. If there's a lot of pressure right here, they can run over here and not go through a fence. The bulls seem more interested in grazing. The sheep are chasing them. Well, actually, the sheep are running down the hill. They're like, what is going on? Yeah, we got a little excitement there. Down the hill. Just got to kind of let them work it out. There's one sheep right in the middle of the cows, or the bulls. It's all new stuff. That's what it is. It's just all new. The sheep will settle down in a minute. Folks, we got pretty good fence around this paddock. The exterior. It's got 4 strands of high tensile. They're not going to go through that fence. So the bulls, they're like, what are these white things? And the sheep are like, what are these red things? They're bigger than we are. So far, I haven't seen anything go through the fence, which is a good sign. You don't like to hear wire stretching. You know, something's hit a perimeter fence. That has not happened here. So now the sheep, you know, they kind of calm down. They're in their group, and there's the bulls over there. You'll come out here tonight, and you'll see bulls grazing, and by God, you'll see sheep grazing. It looks like salt and pepper. You know, they're just all mixed together. Right now, they're still separate. But what's encouraging to me is those young dogs up here. I mean, there's 2 right there. They're not paying attention to those bulls at all. And now the bulls are settling in. They're like, man, there's some good green grass in here and some clover. We're gonna get this before the sheep do. So we've got a Flerd. We went from a herd and a flock to a Flerd. Flock and herd combined. And somebody asked me the other day, well, Greg, why don't you just keep them like that all the time? Run your sheep with the cows. And the reason we don't, we got a lot of road drives and a lot of neighbor dogs. And these guarding dogs we've got, I'm sorry, but there's not going to be much left of these neighbor dogs. When you got 6 or 7 big guard dogs jumping on Fido, it's just not the way to make good neighbors when you kill a dog, especially a pet. Man, I'd be hot too. So you can't do that. You can't walk these cattle and the sheep down the road if you got guard dogs in there and your neighbor's dogs are out barking. It's going to be a wreck. These animals are still a little bit unsettled. But you know what? It's just all new. Look at that one. That bull, so they're sniffing on that sheep. Look at that. He's not spooked of them at all. He's like, that sheep smells pretty good. There's some bulls way down there in the bottom. They're not paying any attention at all. There's a young dog. Hey! No. No. You just got to reprimand them sometimes. They know what no means. That's about all. You know, just a few times of that. They kind of get the idea that they're not supposed to be chasing bulls. And if they get too close to that bull herd and get in amongst them, by God, they could get pounded. And bulls aren't going to take it. They'll just turn around and kind of back them down. So these dogs aren't like healers. In other words, they're not. What's this sheep doing? Check that out. You better get back to your flock. These aren't sheep up here, dude. Oh God, this is great. Yeah, so you got, there's still 2 separate entities here. You got your herd and your flock. And that sheep's like, I better get back over here. Those don't look like sheep. But there's 5 bulls down at the bottom of that paddock. They're not paying any attention to the sheep at all. Man, this is great. We got this. I mean, last year, those dogs took these bulls for a romp. They ran them around this paddock twice. Finally, they got tired of chasing them. And it was kind of a hot afternoon. They're like, they just laid down, some tongues hanging out, and the bulls, they went up and laid down, their tongues were hanging out. They're like, this kind of sucks. Y'all chasing us, and that was kind of it. So, we're pretty good shape right here. God, this is beautiful. Cows and sheep together. So we'll start lambing May 1st. This is March 31st. So we're going to run the bulls with the sheep here for a month. They start lambing. The issue we have is we can't move the sheep as fast as the cows or the bulls need to be moved. And so we'll creep graze the bulls in front and just take off with them. Then the sheep will kind of follow in behind. Once the lambs are all born and mobile and can move, well, then you can put them back together. But you can't move 30, 40 brand new lambs, a paddock jump at a time. They're just not that mobile the first couple of days of their life. So this is Greg Judy. I think I'm going to sign off here on a beautiful March day. And everyone have a great day, and hit that subscribe button on the way out, and we'll see you down the road.